And family and friends are remembering Breonna Taylor. This is the 1-year anniversary of her tragic death. Taylor was just 26 years old when she was shot and killed by police officers in Louisville, Kentucky, while the officers were executing a search warrant.
And earlier this week, charges were permanently dropped against Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, who was also in the home at the time of the shooting. We sat down with Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, and the family attorney, Lonita Baker, to look back at this last year and to find out where things stand for the family now. And Ms. Palmer, Lonita Baker, thank you both for being here. And Ms. Palmer, let me start with you. Can't believe we're saying it's been a year. How has that year been? How is the family now?
Still in the uproar, so it's been a year, but there's been no justice. So
what is it? What is justice for you now?
These officers being prosecuted. They committed a crime and they should be held accountable for it.
Lonita, I want to bring you into this because there was an unprecedented financial civil suit settlement for Breonna's family, but as we just heard Ms. Palmer say, there has been no justice. There has been no criminal charges actually filed as it pertains to Breonna's death. Where does the criminal case stand right now?
Well, as we know, in September, Daniel Cameron's office, the Attorney General of Kentucky, determined that he would not pursue charges on behalf of the officers for killing Breonna Taylor. Instead, he chose to only file charges against Brett Hankinson for wanton endangerment, and told Ms. Palmer that the grand jury decided not to indict the officers. We know that it's not the case, that it was Daniel Cameron's office who decided. And so it is very possible that a prosecutor could indict, and I still encourage our local prosecutors to get involved. They recently dismissed with prejudice the charges against Kenneth Walker, so the conflict that Commonwealth Attorney Tom Wine initially said was present is no longer there, and so we want a grand jury to hear charges against the officers for the murder of Breonna Taylor.
And Ms. Palmer, no-knock warrants have been banned. There's a new police chief. The body cameras have to be worn. So some changes have come. How pleased are you with those changes, or do you have that feeling, as you say, unless there's justice and these officers are charged, do some of these other changes, how do they sit with you? Really,
we don't know what that'll look like, because it's been, they haven't actually done those changes yet. We haven't seen there be an incident where they've implemented those changes. We've seen those changes implemented yet. But I will say I am grateful to have it there, hopefully to not have another Breonna too soon.
Yeah, and we heard, Lonita, you just mentioned that Breonna's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, all charges this week have been dropped against him. Do you believe that decision could impact the federal investigation, the outcome of that investigation?
I don't know that it will impact the outcome of that investigation. And so those charges should have been dismissed. He actually never should have been charged. The federal investigation is dealing into whether the officers violated Breonna Taylor's civil rights and possibly Kenneth Walker's civil rights as well. And we know that they lied to get the search warrant, and we know that they fired an unreasonable amount of shots into Breonna's home in response to one shot. Those are violations of Breonna Taylor's civil rights, which led to her death. And so it is our hope that at the conclusion of the federal investigation, that they are indicted for those charges and they are prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
Ms. Palmer, to you again, your pain has become purpose for a lot of people all over the country and all over the world. But day to day, we're talking about a year now. Does this get at some point any easier? What comforts you now? Here we are a year later.
I still don't have any comfort, and it's definitely not easier. It's a year for everybody else, but every day is still March the 13th to me.
That is the pain, I think, that any parent, but especially you in such a public way, have had to endure in front of the world, frankly. So, Tamika Palmer, we appreciate you being with us and sharing your thoughts, your feelings, your hopes for what this could possibly bring in terms of real change and real justice for you and your family. Lonita Baker, thank you for being with us as well, and we certainly wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
a tough anniversary for everyone, but important to remember.
We've had a lot of anniversaries. Cannot believe
Yeah.
it's been a year. We've been covering that story and so much. That was so long ago, but heart goes out to the family still dealing.
Yes, indeed.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.